This Q&A is a great question regarding medbeds, and if they work on everyone, or if you have to reach a higher frequency for them to work, so you don't want to miss this one. I have to say something about the need and value of digital warriors first. But if you want to get right to the medbed question, you can hop to about the 3-minute mark on the video. First, I want to thank those who have made commitments to support my channel with memberships. Our two newest members are Aaron Worley 8177, who joined last week, and the other is Carlotta JW. Welcome and thank you. It takes a brave person to take a stance and show your support for information that has been suppressed and stigmatized. My viewers are truly amazing. I want to give a shout out to our other supporting members, which include Helen Wheels 1619, Dougfoot 12, Marquette Carter 4141, Connie Sprague 8155, and Chalmersinger Saul. Then there's the ones that have been members for almost a half a year now, and those supporters are Bankrammer 1712, Vivian Hinckley 4801, Gilda Santos 9025, and Loyal One Still, who was my first supporting member and has become a valued friend. There are others who have left super thanks tips, thumbs up, shares, and comments which I value dearly. I want everyone watching to know that you are what we call a digital warrior. Every penny, every click, and every share is supporting a cause that, according to a recent message by my mentor, is focused on helping people understand that we aren't talking about science fiction when we talk about medbeds and higher technologies. Most can't conceive that such things have been suppressed because they haven't been able to break their programming yet, but your attention can and does help. And while it's a slow and grueling process, just know that you are on the cutting edge of something really big. Okay, so let's talk about this question on the board. Many know, but for those who don't, I randomly choose comments and questions on my videos to spotlight in their own long-form video. The questions are chosen because there's a lot of people that have this same question and may not read the comments. I try very hard to answer as many as I can to make the channel a full immersive experience where we can talk about and gain clarity on such taboo topics. It's a safe place. Nobody will ridicule you, and if they did, they would be removed immediately. This community has a lot of very smart and highly evolved people that share their positive vibes with you. So today's question is about the medbeds. There's so much misinformation out there about the medbeds, and a better understanding of how they work can help us sift through the misinformation. We have discussed this in the past, but I know sometimes I have to hear something several times to digest it, especially concepts that I don't have a strong background in. I don't have a particular video to link because I think this is the first time that I've done a video focused on the topic. One thing that I think is important for everyone is that due to massive misinformation campaigns, try not to take everything you hear as if it's gold. Use your noodle to understand the technology, and if it doesn't make sense or has holes, research it until you have a better understanding. When you have clarity about how these medbeds work, you should want to do everything you can to get maximum benefit, because it is very real, and we must break old habits, so there's no better time to start preparing than now. So let's take a look at this very important question that I believe has been created by a lack of understanding from some truthers. The question is from Jeff Guru 3247 and is as follows.
Isn't it true, though, that the individual's frequency and vibration levels need to be high for these beds to even work on an individual? And if so, then what happens to people that cannot raise those two needed elements, let's say? They get no help whatsoever, so a person cannot walk in off the street, climb in a bed, and be healed because their frequency and vibes aren't high enough.
I'm glad you asked that, and it's a great topic for an upcoming video. I know some so-called medbed self-proclaimed experts are saying this, and I considered this possibility, But these assertions aren't consistent with the science, which is primarily physics. First, let me assure you that very few people are experts in medbeds, though some have greater understanding and others have connections to experts. So let me dispel that. I have treasured sources and a background and education in the human body, as well as energy healing, but you aren't going to find a medbed expert who is going to blab the release date to anyone. Run if they tell you that they've been given a date or any special permission to release them. It's not true. Second, I think it's important for people to understand what it's like to raise your frequency and evolve to higher densities. I will link some videos that explore this deeper in the description, but know this one thing about how our body vibrates. The shift from 3D to 5D consciousness is not a permanent one-time leap, but a fluid, ongoing process where our vibrational frequency rises and falls in response to personal growth, emotions, and external experiences. As we grow and learn, our average frequency increases overall, but you don't become a saint, or even close to where many higher beings are overnight. Evolution is a process, and many higher beings have been at it for hundreds of years. They were taught differently and exposed to different environments than humans throughout their entire lives. As with everything, it takes practice, and when you look back, it wasn't as intricate or scientific as you thought. I won't say it's easy, because it's not. When we evolve, we often are tested to elevate to higher levels. But if we can set our base energy to one of love for all things, we're on the path and our lives can change with that one thought. So write it on your notebook. Put a card or note on your fridge or whatever you have to do in order to reinforce the concept to be selfless love. I have to wonder how many truly understand what that even is. So that's a start to raising your frequency. But let's look a bit more closely at how our frequency affects the efficacy of the very powerful off-world medbeds. Imagine a divine and very sensitive and fragile network between our bodies and our environment. A rearrangement of the frequencies occurs with any high or low frequency experience. For instance, a positive outlook, laughter, and nature are all higher frequencies, while constant negative feelings of fear, anger, and despair kinda knock the grid out of whack, so to speak. Add a lifestyle of poisons, bad thoughts, and negative feelings, and it's correct that such people are fighting the reconfiguration. Tim and I are using the Yuka app to identify dangerous food additives when we shop, and we have moved to a primarily raw diet. We have also replaced all plastics and no longer buy anything in plastic bottles or cans as we attempt to clean out our pineal glands for maximum healing. I know that some of you are doing the same, and I'm excited for your proactive purification. Remember, this isn't an artificial drug of some sort that forces or pushes the body. It is the energy that keeps you alive that's being refined to its optimal configuration for health. An angry or fearful person who eats a lot of highly processed foods is going to experience disease and less efficacy when they hit the medbeds. They won't be completely ineffective because the person's damaged or misaligned parts of their body will be bombarded with dominant healthy frequencies that will kinda win the fight against the bad ones, in a sense, so most will benefit, but it's the degree of healing that could be impacted. I want to say something here. It's my understanding that very dark beings will not be allowed access to the medbeds. There are people that just can't be rehabilitated to become a positive force on humanity. They will always be dark. If you believe that you are one of those people that is incapable of being kind and selfless, then you may never receive the opportunity to heal, but most of us are not even close to that sort of depravity. Mistakes are human. Purposely victimizing others is evil. Another factor in the efficacy is likely related to belief. We must consider the effect of our beliefs and how they affect the holographic manifestation of our future. Our belief in itself rearranges the environment, so make them ones of hope or knowing, and there will likely be a more dramatic and prolonged healing. Remember guys, energy is everything. So in the end, yes, I believe a large part of it is related to our consciousness. But even an unhappy, miserable person can soften when they are inundated with love. It's my understanding that everyone will benefit from the beds, but those who consistently create discordant vibrations will be fighting the higher frequencies, and so their healing can be less complete and slower. Considering that we are being told that we'll have a maximum of 3 uses of the Medbeds in our lifetime, this means that we all want to get the most out of one session as possible, and that will only happen when our cells more consistently vibrate in higher frequencies. I hope this helps with your understanding of how Medbeds work. The perfect blueprint will project the healthy image onto your cells. The question is, will you assist or fight the rearrangement of your frequency? Great question. Let's keep talking about it.